All right, everyone. Biden student loan forgiveness. I was hesitant to talk about this. Why? Because I don't have much in the way of student loan debt. What little I did have, I got rid of a number of years ago. So there's a part of me that's like, why do I have anything to say about this when I don't have any student loan debt? I did have some, but got rid of it. And there's this part of me that's like, do I have a right to say anything? And the more I think about it, the more I feel like I really don't have a right to say anything. Now, apparently, back in 2022, when they were talking about this, it was already pretty much said that there was no way it could go through. Nancy Pelosi also said that there was no way that Biden could do anything with the student loan debt. He couldn't just write an executive order or anything. So this should have been settled technically 6+ months ago. But apparently, what happened is that the Supreme Court had to get involved because Biden was supposedly still pushing it. So here we are now with the Supreme Court just up front saying, no, you can't. Don't even try. Just reaffirming what Nancy Pelosi, and Nancy Pelosi isn't against Biden really, but this isn't something that an act of Congress with almost to the point where you would have almost a change in the Constitution in order for this to go, in order for that to happen. So, in other words, Congress would have to agree to it. You couldn't even have the president say anything much about it other than vetoing the bill or signing the bill into law. So this is all on Congress. There's no there for Biden in any form or fashion. And the Supreme Court, I know some people are saying about the Supreme Court, basically Clarence Thomas is doing everything he can because he wants revenge on Biden because Biden was an asshole during his appointment meetings and committees way back in the 80s. I don't think it's that. I don't see Clarence Thomas being that petty. It's that the Constitution basically says he can't do it. The law says he basically can't do it. So then why does Biden think he can do it? Biden can't do this. Now, now I do understand people who need to get rid of that college debt, but you agreed to take on this debt to go through college. What classes you took in between here and there to get you to a point where you had $30 or $40 or $50,000 in debt, but no job to do anything with it? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I hate it for you in some ways because that debt is a pain in the ass. But life ain't fair. You sign up for something, and then you have to sort of deal with the consequences. That's just how it is. Part of me doesn't like it either, but you start something. Some things you start, you got to finish. That's just the way it goes. So looking at it from that aspect, I understand why these people have to pay their debts. But, what can I say? I've been in debt before and different things, and I can feel, I don't want to say pity, but sympathy and understanding. But you still got to pay your debts. That's just the way the world works. Get a second job. One job to pay your bills, one job to pay off your debt. If you're working two jobs and you're making $2,000, maybe $3,000 a month doing it, then I'm pretty sure you can take $1,000, as long as you're not living like an idiot, and pay off your debt, your college debt. A bit of a gnat in here. So I just have a hard time with this. Now, also, I can understand the reasoning why Congress would be against this and the Supreme Court. Because if you give the president the power to just cancel whatever debt he wants, whenever there's a reasoning behind it, then you give the president the power to get rid of the nation's debt. In theory, you could expand this to say, well, the president has the right to just get rid of the nation's debt. So we're $33 trillion in debt. Biden can just wave his magic wand and say, well, that debt doesn't exist anymore. Everything's fine. Economy reset. So I can see where people will be like, yeah, that's a bad idea. That's a bad precedent to be setting, to allow a president to just declare certain debts non-existent. It's just not a good idea. Now, also, even if President Biden had declared the debt either non-existent or that set up a program that the federal government will pay off the debt, that paying off of the debt is transferred into higher taxes at some point in time for everyone. Not just for the guys who had their debt paid off, but, everyone. And so the argument that's being given by a lot of people is, well, wait a minute now. Why am I going to pay higher taxes for somebody else that agreed to take up debt? So I can see where some people are coming from, but how much would the relieving of the student debt raise taxes? 5%? 10%? 20%? I mean, it's talking about a few $100 billion. We burn through that in a week in some areas. So you really have to start asking the question, how is this not going to work out? But once again, I'm not totally agreeing with the idea of Biden paying off student debt. Let's say I would have agreed with this. If you had they would look at each person's student debt and agree to pay a portion of it. So like if you had $20,000 in student debt, they'll pay off $5,000. They'll say, okay, that $5,000 is no longer there. If you had $100,000, maybe $10,000 or $20,000. Stuff like that makes a lot more sense to me than trying to pay off most of it, half of it, all of it. That doesn't make any sense to me. You're just running up debt, or you're shifting the debt to the taxpayer. Which isn't a good thing in my opinion. So overall, what I will say is this. Wiser men than me have agree that, it's just not a good idea to have Biden do this. And that legally and constitutionally he cannot do it. So I'm more than willing to go along with what these people are saying. Because I don't have any college debt. I don't have any student loan debt. But others that don't are went ahead and... In other words, I don't want to see other people suffering from higher taxes because a portion of our population ran up a debt that they can't pay. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm looking at it from all of those aspects. And right now I can only say, yeah, I agree. Biden shouldn't be able to wave no magic wand and just get rid of some of your student debt or all of it. All right, then. That's all I have to say on that one. Everybody take care and have a blessed day.